Hi, everybody, and welcome to my podcast. I'm so glad that you're taking the time to listen. Now, some people reckon that the fairy tales of Hans Christian Andersen are scary, but they are really tame when you compare them to some of the stories in the Old Testament, especially those I was told as an impressionable child in Sunday school. Sunday school was the event I attended every Sunday afternoon as a child. We'd sing lots of choruses with actions and then listen to stories about God and the heroes of the Bible. Looking back, I'm grateful for the godly influence of my family, but I'm not so grateful for the perspective I had of God as I grew up into adulthood. Let me explain by telling you about some of the scary Bible stories that influenced me. I learned that God was somebody who messed around with your head psychologically. Take the story of Abraham, a devout follower of God. God decided to test his loyalty to him by asking him to kill his son Isaac. Abraham dutifully obeyed, and then at the last second, before he plunged his knife into the heart of his son, God told him to stop and provided a lamb to kill instead. Now that would really mess with your head. We were taught that this was the action of a God who loves us. Really? Sounds to me like a God who's manipulative and capricious. Moving on to the story of Noah and the flood. Here we have a God who is so unhappy with the human race that he decides to wipe out humanity completely. Bear in mind that God created humanity in the first place and gave everyone free will to choose how they would live. Now, if you're somebody who believes God knows everything, then you do have to ask yourself, did you not know that this idea would backfire and people would do as they please? Whatever, God decided to commit the greatest act of genocide that's ever been seen. As children, we were told that this was a wonderful story of God's love for Noah and his family and all the nice animals. Did God not love the bad people who mocked Noah? Anyway, the story had a happy ending. A rainbow appeared and God said he would not do anything like that again. We also sang a joyful chorus about God drowning everybody and saving Noah and his family. Happy days indeed. The stories of a vindictive God continued. There was the one about God drowning all the wicked Egyptians in the Red Sea. Perhaps these days that could be seen as racist. Egyptians bad, Hebrews good. Again, we had a joyful chorus about this. Finally, there's the story of Jonah. The poor guy thought he could do what he wanted and not obey God. Apparently, God taught him a lesson by having him swallowed by a huge whale. Now, whether or not this story is literally true, the point that was being made to me is that if you disobey God, you do so at your own risk. He will punish you. These scary stories made a big impression on me as a child. It formed my concept of God as someone who is all-powerful and vindictive, who will make my life hell if I disobey him. So I had a rather skewed perspective of God. As I've journeyed through my adult life, I've had to unlearn the concept of God as a cruel dictator who is full of anger and judgment. The God shown to me in my scary Sunday school stories is not one that I follow these days, or would encourage others to follow. For me, the God of the Old and New Testament, as made flesh in Jesus, is the God I seek to follow these days. A kind, loving, gentle God whose heart breaks at the suffering and injustice in our world. A God who offers an incredibly simple approach to life and spirituality. It's simply love God and love your neighbor as yourself. I suspect I might not be alone in this journey I've had. What about you? Did you have a similar experience as a child? Drop me a line and let me know. Thanks for listening to this brief podcast. There are many others for you to listen to. If you'd like to be kept updated with our songs, poetry and podcasts, do sign up for my newsletter at www.noelrichards.com. Thanks once again.